We could have outtakes on this too and put it out.
That sounded like I was another.
This project is extremely important to me. I feel like it's important for everyone to have a community of people that they can kind of come to and relate to. My hope is that in the future, foster kids will be able to look back on this video and be like, hey, you know, that person told this story and that's what made me get to where I am today. Now I'm gonna start crying. Tell me a little bit about your story.
I went into foster care the first time at the age of 2. My mom got me back at 3, and then this CPS kind of stayed around a little bit, but we got taken away again for the final time. I was 13, and one of my sisters who was in the home with me was 17. And we never went back home since then. We definitely still talk to our mom. I still talk to my mom. My mom is in my son's life, which I'm very grateful for.
So I grew up in Puyallup and went into foster care when I was about 12. And I never really had a placement. I moved around from a lot of group homes or like shelters. And at a certain point, my mental health was really low. It's really hard not having a family. And there was a crisis and I ran away. And so I was gone for a year and I fell into drug addiction and just a lot of really bad problems. And eventually I kind of realized, like, I want more out of my life. I want something better.
I was in the foster care system when I was 12. My family gave up on me. They signed over their rights to the foster care system. That's why when I was in foster care, when I got in foster care, I didn't like family settings. I did not like family settings because it reminds me too much of what my family did to me. I was a very angry kid growing up because I lost my mom in a car accident when I was 5. She died. But I didn't have a mom and a dad. I had the system. I had social workers, I had attorneys, I had police officers, I had, you know, the judges, I had courts. Those were my parents. For so many years, for 10 years of my life, those were my parents. And ain't nobody showed me anything different. So I allowed myself to think that this was the way of life.
I was born in a prison in California. My mother was incarcerated while I was born. And so I went to foster care for the first few months of my life. I didn't like the foster care system much, so I became a habitual runaway. I went to pretty much every receiving home, foster home, group home that you could find there, and I just did not like them, so I became a Seattle street kid. I did crimes of survival at first, shoplifting, a lot of shoplifting, some burglaries. It ended up intersecting with the juvenile system, and that became like a second home to me. I preferred there, for whatever reason, I kind of preferred there over foster homes and receiving homes. So I really cycled in and out of there for a long time during my juvenile years.
What do you want people to know about what it's like to be in foster care?
I was a very angry kid who was angry at my social workers. I'm like, you don't understand. You go home to your family, your own bed. I sleep in a hand-me-down bed with hand-me-down clothes, and you just don't understand, you know?
I remember when I first entered foster care being super depressed. I had a problem with substance abuse, and so I got separated from my sibling very fast in the system, and I felt very alone. Sorry if I get a little emotional, but I just remember just being like, when is this gonna end? This is so terrible. And through that process, I felt super alone.
For a lot of years, you think you're alone. You don't have a lot of people to depend on, or at least you believe that. And I think to an extent it's true. You definitely feel like you're alone. And I think that's what makes some people, especially after they become justice system involved, grow inward. It really is a bad thing. And I think for a long time I just grew inward. I did a lot of time in segregation where for a small child, being in a room alone, you don't learn to deal with other people. You're mad at the world, and you're just in a room 23 hours a day. It's almost like you begin to hate the world. I've met some people like that I grew up with, and when I talk to them, they just have such a sense of hopelessness, and I try to talk to them, but sometimes they've just grown too far inward.
You know, my whole life, like, I've always had people, especially family, slam doors in my face, tell me that I'm not valuable, tell me that I'm not worth it, tell me that, you know, whatever I do isn't going to make a difference, that I'm the reason why my mom's dead, or I'm the reason why I'm the way that I am, or that the world is the way that it is because I was alive and I was existing. And, you know, hearing that from your family members, especially as a young child, as an adolescent, that will stick with you. You know, it really does. It sticks with you. So, like, even to this day, I still battle with, I'm the reason why this person's feeling this way. I'm the reason why this person's feeling that way. And it's not my fault that I feel like that. It's not my fault that I can't get those thoughts or that negative self-talk out of my head. It's just everything that I've been through. It's that trauma latching onto me and telling me that these things are my fault because this is the way I am.
What does it mean for you to thrive?
Thriving from the perspective of a foster child, especially one that's been down and out, just means to overcome, not all of it, because I don't know if we're ever going to overcome all of it. I haven't overcome all my trauma. I still have issues that I work on in my head on a daily basis. And over time, to thrive just means you start overcoming that, and each step is thriving a little more. At some point when it turns, I think, is when you meet somebody that can help you through that, and usually it's someone that has that shared experience or lived experience. I did meet some good people that tried to help me think differently and think that you're not alone.
Enjoy the little things because they add up. But now being able to give back to the youth in foster care as an adult who's went through it, I'm honestly blessed. This is what I love. I love to share my story. I love to give back. Like, the many times I felt alone and other people made me not feel alone, I want to do the same for others. So I'm super, super excited for that and what's to come, and super blessed that I got this opportunity as well, because it does take a village. I want to tell mommies out there, especially teen mommies, don't be afraid to take that help. It takes a village for real. I know you want to do bad all by yourself, trust me, and it's hard to trust people, especially, you know, going through hard times and being bounced around and stuff, but, you know, if someone is genuinely trying to help you and, you know, just, it's okay to take it. Don't be afraid to take it. Don't break yourself, because, you know, if you break yourself, there's nothing left to give that baby. And I know every mommy wants to give their baby the world.
Wasn't that powerful? Welcome Maya to the stage. Maya spent so many months working on that video.
I did.
And by the way, I know we might just be a few minutes over, but I promise we'll make sure you're out in a reasonable time. Maya, thank you for working on that.
Of course.
Your theme, you are not alone. What made you, because I know, ideated on so many different areas, but you settled on that one. Why was that important for you to share that message with the world?
Yeah, thank you for asking. I think the main thing for me is wanting to give some sort of hope to other foster youth. I know as a young foster child, I did not have a lot of people around me to give me that. And so the whole purpose of this video is so for other foster youth to see this and to feel motivated, to feel loved, and just to have the strength to keep going.
Yeah. How did connecting with your fellows on a deeper level and hearing their stories, how did that impact you as the storyteller?
It impacted me a lot. Everyone has their own story to tell, and I just think that everyone needs to be heard. You know, no matter what walk of life you're in, even if you don't feel like you're successful enough, that doesn't matter, you know. Whatever you feel like you're doing to thrive is the most important.
Yeah. How did you go about selecting who would be part of it?
Yeah, most of the participants in this project were friends of mine, or as I like to say, they're my family. People I met along the way when I was in foster care who are also in foster care, and they mean a lot to me.
Yeah. I know that in this capacity you were helping others tell their stories, and I would be honored if you would just share a little bit about your journey in foster care.
Yeah, of course. Thank you. So yeah, I entered foster care at the early age of 2.5. I was then placed back into the system at 15 years old. I've kind of been on my own for the most part, but I did have a very lucky opportunity to meet a family. The Halls, they're actually here right now, if they wouldn't mind standing up for me.
The Halls, you're being put on the spot. So 2.5, you go into foster care. You're what age when you meet the Halls?
I met the Halls when I was 17.
Okay.
So they literally saved my life, and I would never ask for better people in my life. So thank you so much.
How did they impact you? Tell us a little bit more about that.
Well, when I entered their home, I was previously homeless. I was struggling with drug addiction and a lot of other things. And Marcia used to be my, I guess we call it an advocate, but she used to give me rides to like my counselor office, and she'd go in with me and advocate for me. She advocated for me so hard. And I'm sorry, I forgot the question.
No, you were just telling me all the ways that the Halls, about your relationship.
Yeah, and she didn't like my living situation, and so she told her husband, my dad, that she was bringing me home. And so they picked me up and took me home, and I've been home ever since.
Wow. Now, this video you presented today, it's the kickoff of a series. So tell me more about that.
Yeah, so I have kind of been messing around with this project. I don't know, I feel like, I don't know.
No, it's okay, and this is emotional. It's okay. I mean, and you're on stage in front of all these people. I'm just curious because this is really this is just the beginning, the video that you just shared. So tell us about what comes next in terms of the series.
I'm not too sure what comes next, but I know that this isn't it.
You want to tell more stories?
Yeah, there's so many other stories to tell, you know. There's lots of Alexes and lots of Mayas and lots of Marians out there, you know, just waiting for people to listen. That's all we want. We just want people to listen to us and love us for who we are, treat us like human beings, you know.
Yeah. Your time as a fellow, it's wrapping up when?
June will be the last
June will be
month.
the end. Okay. How has that experience been as a fellow?
Oh, wow. Yeah, this experience has been amazing. I feel like since I've met the other fellows, I don't know, they've become a part of my family, you know, like they are my lived experience siblings, and I couldn't ask for better siblings. So thank you.
Yeah. So So what's next? So you wrap up in June, and you have some news, right, about what you're doing next?
Yeah, we're going to try and work on a documentary, and possibly a podcast for foster youth. So I'm really excited for that.
Okay. And you have a part-time job too lined up, right? Is it a job lined up that you have?
I do. I currently also work with I Foster, AmeriCorps.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Anything else you want everyone, you were saying a few moments ago, you want people to listen. And, we're listening to you, and we're very inspired by you and the work of you, your fellows, and all who worked on the video. Thank you. Anything else you want people to know before we wrap up?
Thank you so much for being here and offering an ear. We appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you for being willing to tell your story and the story of others. Thank you.
Yeah.